Ever since Jayson Tatum was drafted into the NBA, he's always been regarded as the Celtics' best player.
Tatum drives down and throws it down! Wow!
He's made 4 All-NBA teams, with 3 of those teams being All-NBA first-team honors, is a perennial MVP candidate, and is in the conversation for being a potential future face of the NBA.
Okay, who would you rather have next 5 years? Jayson Tatum or Luka?
Jaylen Brown, on the other hand, has only made 1 All-NBA team, and that was just a second-team selection. A few years ago, he was even on the trading block. Yes, the Celtics actually offered him for Kevin Durant, but the Nets refused the deal at the time. Don't get me wrong, Brown's been impressive, no doubt, but he was never quite in the same league as Tatum. However, in the NBA Finals, Jaylen Brown won the Finals MVP, a prestigious accolade that's typically given to the best player in the league. The official narrative of why he won the award credited his defense, which was undeniably there, but it left me questioning, was his defensive play truly that elite?
Doncic gets inside and gets to the rim once again.
Meanwhile, Brown's partner in crime, Jayson Tatum, led the team in sports, rebounds, assists, and minutes played. If you look at the game score metric of the finals, one of the best advanced metrics available, Tatum led in this category as well. So how then did Jaylen Brown end up with the award? How does someone who has a lower finals PER than Andre Iguodala, widely considered by many fans to be the worst finals MVP in NBA history, receive the most prestigious award the NBA has to offer? Well, I meticulously looked into all of this, and when I say all, I mean I closely examined every single shot that Luka took in the entire finals, all 125 field goal attempts he took. And after conducting this in-depth analysis, I learned some surprising insights, and as I dived even deeper into all of this, an entirely different story emerged. The answer to the question why Jayson Tatum didn't win the Finals MVP is actually more absurd and simpler than you may think, and I'm about to show you exactly what I mean.
Doncic gets inside and a much-needed bucket, although Jaylen Brown very slow to get up.
The official narrative on why Brown won the Finals MVP while Jayson Tatum did not is, like I said, largely attributed to his defense on Luka. And after watching every game and meticulously reviewing all 125 of Luka's shot attempts, one thing stood out. Brown unquestionably embraced the challenge of guarding Luka. More than any other Celtics player, Brown rose to the challenge, guarding him play after play after play. However, the crucial question remains, did Brown actually manage to slow Luka down effectively enough to merit winning Finals MVP over Jayson Tatum, who led the entire team in points, rebounds, and assists? I came across a Twitter stat suggesting that Brown guarded Luka exceptionally well, holding him to just 40% shooting from the field. And honestly, if these stats are accurate and he did indeed achieve this, then yes, he likely deserved the Finals MVP. However, this raises another immediate question. If Brown managed to defend Luka so effectively, what did Tatum do on defense against Luka? I scoured the internet for these statistics, but came up empty-handed. So I did what any NBA fanatic would do. I took the job on myself and I analyzed every shot Luka took, scrutinizing the moments when Brown guarded him and when Tatum guarded him. My goal was to determine if Brown truly defended Luka significantly better than Tatum, and here's what I discovered. Take a look at this play. Brown starts off guarding Luka, who then switches onto Al Horford and misses the shot. Or consider this one. Brown is initially on Luka, but then Luka switches onto Peyton Pritchard and misses again. This pattern more or less defined the NBA Finals. Yes, Brown embraced the challenge of guarding Luka, and there were even moments captured on camera where he confidently proclaimed he would lock Luka down.
If Luka give it up, I'm not letting him get it back. Yep. You know what I mean? If you want to get the ball, bring it up yourself.
Exactly.
The truth, however, is that he didn't actually guard Luka all that much, as Luka frequently got the switch off him. Sure, in Game 1, Brown did have moments of brilliance, like the 2 steals that led to immediate buckets, including a highlight-worthy slam. However, when I counted all of Luka's shots in that game, the numbers told a different story. On plays where Brown was involved, Luka scored 9 times out of 13 possessions. In contrast, when Tatum was involved, Luka scored on 3 out of 4 possessions. The fact of the matter is that no individual player on the Celtics could truly contain Luka. Now, to Brown's credit, Luka clearly didn't enjoy being defended by him. About 90% of the time, Luka requested a switch when Brown was on him, and it was evident that Luka preferred Tatum's defense, as seen in Game 3, where to start the game, Luka constantly switched off of Brown and onto Tatum, then proceeded to cook him like barbecue chicken.
Mavericks had not dropped 2 in a row all postseason as Doncic rattles in a 3.
Now, why did the stats look like this then? Why then did the numbers make it look like Brown completely shut down Luka, making him appear as inefficient as 2015 LeBron? Well, it's because several of Luka's shots were forced, skewing the numbers. For example, late in Game 2, when the Mavericks were down 7 with less than 30 seconds remaining, Luka desperately needed a three-pointer while Brown was guarding him, and it was a poor desperation shot that anyone would have missed. In Game 4, Luka was handed a grenade shot, which he missed. Then, all throughout the series, while Brown was defending him, Luka simply missed shots. Not due to Brown's defense, but simply because he missed. Just like how he missed this wide-open shot when Peyton Pritchard was guarding him. Now, that's not to say that Brown didn't have any good defensive plays. He certainly had some. However, after analyzing all 125 shots Luka took, I found that there were only about 3 or 4 instances where Brown truly made it difficult for him. Most of the time, Luka actually managed to get what he wanted against Brown because despite Brown's best efforts, Luka was still able to get a switch or get to his spot. While I'll admit that Tatum was probably a worse defender than Brown, the difference wasn't significant enough, in my opinion, to cost Tatum the Finals MVP. In fact, if there were a rating system out of 10 for defending Luka, Brown would probably score a 6 out of 10, while Tatum would score a 5 out of 10. And honestly, when you look at the numbers, Luka's shooting was just as effective as it was in the other series. Here are Luka's effective field goal percentages across all 4 series. His best performance was against the Timberwolves. His worst performance was against the Clippers. Against both OKC and the Celtics, his shooting percentages were more or less the same. So in that regard, we can't attribute the finals win solely to Jaylen Brown. While he wasn't a bad defender by any means, he didn't significantly slow down Luka from his usual averages. In fact, if we're going to credit defense for the finals MVP, it should go to Derek White or Drew Holiday. These 2 players did a fantastic job of slowing down Kyrie Irving, who shot noticeably worse in the finals. Here are Kyrie's effective field goal percentages across all 4 series. Against the Clippers, he was absolutely unstoppable, exceeding 60% in this metric. Against the Thunder, he came back down to earth. He shot a bit better against the Timberwolves. Then in the finals, he was absolutely mauled, primarily by White, Holiday, and even Pritchard at times. So, after spending several hours analyzing each of Kyrie's shots against the Celtics and each of Luka's shots against the Celtics, I concluded that Brown's defense wasn't the key factor in the Celtics' victory over the Mavericks. It's true that Luka didn't want Brown guarding him and did everything he could to get a switch. However, when Brown did guard him, as I mentioned earlier, Luka still managed to get to his preferred spots most of the time. Why then didn't Tatum win Finals MVP? He played almost as well as Brown on defense, led the team in all 3 major statistical categories, and even had the best game score for the Celtics. Well, here's where things get a bit ridiculous. You see this guy here getting clobbered in a boxing match back in college? Well, that's Tim Bontemps, a writer for the NBA at ESPN. And despite never playing basketball beyond high school, he was given a vote for Finals MVP. Malika Andrews, known for her speaking mind on ESPN and famously getting shut down by Stephen A. Smith.
We are not here, Stephen A., to further blame women. That is not why we are here.
First of all, let me be very clear. I don't appreciate where you're going with that.
Yes, this Malika Andrews also had a vote for Finals MVP. And to the best of my knowledge, after searching online, she has never played organized basketball in her life. I reviewed every single voter, and the vast majority are just sports writers who follow narratives without deeply analyzing the game. They aren't truly qualified to determine who's the best player for the Celtics in the finals. Here's where things get even more interesting. PJ Carlesimo, a former head coach of the Golden State Warriors, arguably the most qualified of all 11 voters, voted for Jayson Tatum. Doris Burke, who also played at the college level, voted for Jayson Tatum. Now, I don't know any of these 11 voters personally. I just did a quick Google search. However, it appears that the majority, besides PJ and Doris, have never been involved in playing basketball beyond high school. Most of them are just sports writers, and it seems they just simply follow the narrative. Jaylen Brown made a few good defensive plays and created more highlight-worthy moments, which caught ESPN's attention. And being an all-star and the highest-paid player in the league, this narrative seemed acceptable. But the truth is, Brown averaged 21 points, 5 rebounds, and 5 assists while shooting 44% from the field, 23% from 3, and 73% from the free throw line. To be honest, as a Warriors fan, I couldn't care less who on the Celtics wins Finals MVP. However, awarding it to Brown based on the narrative that he slowed down Luka is simply wrong. Maybe if Brown had made Luka shoot 39% like Iguodala did to LeBron in the 2015 Finals, there would be a case to make. However, Luka still had a true shooting percentage of 53%. While this isn't elite, it matches his performance throughout the playoffs, except for the Timberwolves series. Anyway, do you know who must be fuming right now? Somewhere out there in basketball heaven, Kobe Bryant must be shaking his head because the 2 times the Celtics won the NBA championship were in 08 and 24. On a different note, you all know who Caitlin Clark is, right? The WNBA sensation? Well, she's facing unprecedented attacks like I've never seen any basketball player endure before. If you want to know why, then click on this video right here for the whole story.